Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the dual panning and the regular panning inside of Bitwig. So here we are. We have a serum, and the serum has a tool and a dual pan on it. So in the first part, we have a tool. The tool uses the same panning conventions as the mixer. So the tool will act as the first bar, and then on the third bar, we have the dual pan do the panning basically. So below I have an oscilloscope, and this basically proves that there is a difference between the dual pan and the regular pan when used, such as the second one on the right is louder when I do the panning process and pan it to the right. So we'll hear that here in a second. I'm going to play this and we'll see. So they sound the same, however, this one's louder, the second one, with the dual pan. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. Cool, let's talk about this here. So this is a serum, and in this serum, we have a self-made wavetable, only in the right channel, and then we have a square wave only in the left channel. Cool, so if I were to play this as proof, that's only coming out of the left channel. That only comes out of the right channel. So I'll put them both on, and I've already bounced it. And the waveform is going to look like this. And we can zoom in on it here. We can see we do have these square sounds, and then we have the roughness of the rough wavetable I used alongside it. So that's cool. So now when we listen to this, by default, cool. So we can notice right away that there is a slight volume difference. The square wave is slightly louder. That doesn't matter. So if I play this and pan this to the left, you will hear that we only can hear the square wave, meaning that Bitwig uses what's called conventional panning, not true stereo panning. To the right, I only hear my gritty wavetable. There is no sign of the square wave. The bass might sound like the square wave, but there is no square wave because when I turn it back, I hear no resemblance of the gritty that was on the right side. Okay, so now if we listen to my dual pan, I'm going to take the square, it's on the left, and I'm going to just turn this to the middle first. Get 0 in there. Okay, so now it's in the middle. So if I put it all the way to the right, now I hear both in the right. This is true stereo panning. The idea of the conventional panning is that the left side will never reach the right, and the right side will never reach the left. So when I pan this to the left, it destroys my source sound by basically taking these levels and just lowering them. So when I move this, you can see it's being lowered. Right? And that's not how panning's supposed to exactly work. Because by the time I get all the way to the left side, I shouldn't hear nothing. Where in this case, I can move it to the right side. And I can still hear my saw wave. The dual pan is the stereo panning option. So basically, what allows me to do is it allows me to take the signal source on the left and treat it separately from the one on the right. And I can take the one on the left and send it to the right. This is nice because it allows you to mono a sound if it has two separate wavetables, leaving us now with a completely mono sound. Or deciding how wide we want this to actually be spread. Do we want it to be full stereo? Or do we want it to be a little less wide? Essentially doing what this width knob down here would do, but with a little more control. And that's basically the difference, is that this is a true stereo panner, and then that this one is a conventional panner. So it doesn't have a true stereo panner. Can we discuss something really weird though? I was just like, okay, let's compare this to Ableton for a second. And I do so, and check out this. That's not solid right. That's not solid left. But when I did this in Bitwig the exact same way, with the exception of a wavetable, which is not making the difference here, it was completely left and completely right. But as far as it goes, it still has a conventional panner, just like Bitwig does. So what's up with that? That is really weird, if you think about it. No, I don't know the answer to this. If someone does, that would be interesting to hear why the plugin literally sounds different inside of Ableton. Looking through my audio settings, for the most part, I'd say just about everything is the exact same. So why? With that craziness aside, let's discuss this for a minute. So the way this is being imagined is like we have a room, we have our left, and we have our right, you know, and then we will divide the room using, say, like this. Like, yep, we divide our room to left and right. Okay, so now the way this stuff works is we're gonna have like instruments or whatever placed around the room. So by default, you know, you're gonna have an instrument here when you open Serum, right? Pretend you have two oscillators like that. And then they meet smack in the middle, which means that this actually equals this, making it sound like mono, basically. Because if you listen to the source sound at default and take away the width, it has not changed at all. In fact, if you put the width up to maximum, the source sound is gone. So the two stereo pairs have made a mono source. So that's what happens when you play about any instrument that's going to play a saw wave, because they're going to try to make stereo. So when you do left or right, you're basically taking this little position and you're moving it like over here some, right? When you use an EQ to take away fundamental tone, you're putting it like back here. When you use it to boost the fundamental tone, you're putting it like up here. So that's how that works. I've already explained this in my stereo fields. So the way the dual panner works is like we kind of, or the conventional panning, sorry. We have item here. Let's get out another color. Item here, right? They're both playing sounds. Now, what happens with the dual panning is, say we have a microphone. Sorry, I keep saying dual panning. I mean the conventional panning, the mixer panning, the regular way that these DAWs pan. We have a left microphone and a right microphone, right? Cool. So now these are going to play like that. This red line just represents the center. That's it, right? So say we get a new line here. So this is what happens when we use our conventional panning. We have these instruments, we can both hear them clearly. Now, what we're doing is we're taking this side of the room here. Say it has a volume and it comes here, right? This is the volume of left and right separately right here. So what happens when we mess around with everything is we're just saying, hey, how about you go down here? And that's what happens when you pan to the left. That's literally it. So with the dual panning, what happens when you do it properly is that it doesn't actually do that. What it does is it takes this little sound and it moves him over here while keeping the same volume. This is what this does. It moves it across the room horizontally until it comes up and gets right on top of him. The middle point ends up in the middle, and then now goes back to where it was. The regular conventional panning of what we're using just lowers the volume of this side of the room, and that's it. It, like, say this microphone's gain just went down. It's picking up less noise from the side of the room. And say there's a wall here. Just pretend there's a giant wall blocking any noise from between these microphones. Like that. And this wall stops everyone from being his friend. He has no friends. So now the red line is the wall. So this wall, the left and right microphone work completely independently and then are summed. So now we can't move this across because that's not going to make a difference because this left microphone can't hear it. So now all I'm doing is taking this microphone's gain, moving it up or down, and then that's what the conventional panning of just coming in here, messing with your C value, or going into Bitwig and moving your panning value like this. And that's basically all there is to it. For the most part, they are going to do the same thing as one another. If you were to work with an audio source that's two mono sources, left and right, the dual pan or the regular pan, the dual pan would probably be a better choice for moving things around. But for the most part, the conventional panning is actually fine. You can use it. It will still get the job done. Just remember that it's not moving the position of your object. All it's doing is changing its right and left levels, which can imitate it, but it is still different from actually changing where this object is in this room. So yeah, thanks for watching.